And back to Florida now, where there are some new revelations now in the Caylee Anthony case. This as prosecutors have formally charged the mother of the missing 2-year-old with child neglect and filing false statements. Casey Anthony, the mom, well, she's already spent a month in the Florida jail, but she still has not been charged with anything related to the disappearance of the little girl itself. So what does this say about the prosecution's case? Phil Keating, live in Orlando with the very latest. You know, Phil, Casey's mother seems to think this absolves Caylee's mom of any future charges. Is that the view down there?
No, absolutely that is not the case. It potentially is the case, but keep in mind, Orange County Sheriff's Department investigators are still waiting on the fully complete forensic analysis done on a neighbor's shovel, done on a possible hair strand found in Casey's trunk, as well as a stain in the trunk of her car that under black light looked suspicious. So this case, the charges in this case could certainly escalate further on as this investigation progresses. But keep in mind that additionally, investigators say this investigation could progress more rapidly and more accurately if Casey Anthony, who remains in jail at $500,000 bond, would actually provide more thorough statements. They contend she's been deceiving them and not telling them the whole truth. But the mother says the fact that only those two charges, child neglect and making false statements, that they don't include homicide charges, reiterates what the family has contended all along, that what we're dealing with here is the kidnapping of a 2-year-old child. Take a listen.
Based on everything you know, and you clearly know more than you can share publicly, what do you think the motive here is on the kidnapping?
I can't disclose that. If I say what the motive is, then that's kind of tip our hand.
If you were the one making the calls on how do we find Caylee as fast as possible, what is the strategy?
The strategy is not to mislead people into believing that Caylee is not longer with us, okay?
Have they suggested that to you, the police?
Well, you know, when I'm told, you can't talk both sides of your mouth. You're either saying that you're looking for Caylee or you're not looking for Caylee. And I find it very hard to swallow when they say that they believe Caylee was in the back of that trunk and that they're out fully looking for Caylee. They haven't proven anything that Caylee's been in the back of that trunk.
Keep in mind here that Casey's initial story to investigators, her story all along has been she dropped off Caylee to this nanny/babysitter in mid-June named Zenaida Fernandez-Gonzalez at the Sawgrass Apartments here in Orlando. Well, today, we went back over those apartments right now, and initially, the apartment complex told investigators there's never been a Zenaida Fernandez-Gonzalez that lived in that unit. That unit's been vacant for 6 months, but there was a Zenaida Gonzalez who filled out a inquiry card as to wanting to potentially rent an apartment there, but that was dated back in April. Well, now the apartment complex is saying, you know, maybe with sloppy handwriting, we don't believe that was a 4 on the application. We believe that was a 7, or a 6 rather. So that would have been in mid-June, June 17th. So they're saying that somebody was there, Zenaida Gonzalez, on June 17th, not back in April, inquiring about potentially renting an apartment here. And that's interesting here because that's roughly the time that Casey and Caylee disappeared for that 4-week period when she was not seen and didn't report that the child was missing. Asked if that was possible that it was Casey Anthony who maybe went under an alias and applied for that apartment, claiming she was actually Zenaida Gonzalez. Investigators saying, well, we certainly cannot rule that out. So the intrigue certainly continues to grow in this still going on case that is still officially a missing child case. Eric.
Yeah, Phil, it's really complicated, and Caylee's still, of course, missing. Thanks.